And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Knoxville Virtual Series, second invitational race number 3 of the 2020 virtual Knoxville racing season. Tonight's broadcast brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, Royal Flooring, and Pushing the Cushion Productions. I'm Tony Bachhoven. Glad to have you with us as you're looking live down to the infield at virtual Knoxville Raceway as the drivers are doing a bit of warm-ups, getting the track worked in, getting ready to go. Tonight's format, much like in previous weeks, we'll have a qualifying session. We'll have 5 minutes of qualifying, 2 laps to get their best time. We'll have 8-lap heat races tonight where we'll advance the top 4 cars. Those that don't make the transfer will make their way into our 22-lap B feature event. Looking like about 8 cars would likely come out of that race into tonight's final 40-lap feature event. What a big night of racing we have to come here tonight for the final time as we put the ribbons on virtual racing as we know it for 2020 so far, and in hopes of warmer weather and better things ahead where we can go back to real racetracks and start racing once again in front of race fans. So glad to have you tuned in on YouTube tonight. Make sure you go down and give our friends at Pushing the Cushion Productions a like on their YouTube channel. Lots of great content on there. You can scroll back and watch previous events and other virtual racing put on by Pushing the Cushion, so make sure you go check that out. We want to say a special thanks to our sponsors over the last 6 weeks of virtual racing. Tygo Racing, Chaden Automotive, our presenting sponsor tonight, Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Premium Sprint Car Parts, Shane Phillips, Kyle McCullough, HostIowa.net, powered by Nemeth Racing Enterprises, Jack L. Anderson Autobody, Champion Race Productions, Kate Higday Racing, Caleb Johnson, Wayne Johnson Racing, Best Christmas Ever of Iowa, and Royal Flooring, along with our friends at the Knoxville Raceway. So qualifying is just about set to go. Looks like Thomas Kennedy, the first car, making his way out to put some laps up on the chart here tonight. They'll have about 9.5 minutes to do some qualifying here. As we get set for our final night of virtual racing here, we'll be bringing up some drivers to talk to here in just a few minutes. We'll give a couple of these guys some time to get their laps put in before we go out and try to get a word with them here. Of course, we'll want to speak with Thomas Kennedy. Thomas does quite a bit of iRacing during the week on off nights in preparation for virtual race nights, as does Tyler Grunendijk, who picked up a win here just a couple weeks ago. Johnny Anderson, another one of those guys that will be fast here tonight. He has been fast in previous weeks of virtual series racing. We'll see if we can get a word with Thomas Kennedy here in just a moment, as we'll make our way into his virtual helmet and try to catch the word with him here during qualifying. He was a car you just saw out on the racetrack. He is beached in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, not able to come in, not because Donald Trump won't let him, but because his passport's no good. Thomas Kennedy joins us on the broadcast here tonight. Thomas, how was qualifying?
Not too bad. Better than I thought. I think I'm 8th right at this moment. So, hopefully I can make it through tonight without getting in a wreck. That's, the ultimate goal here, because pretty much every race that I've been in, I've gotten to some sort of wreck, unfortunately. But it's been good otherwise.
iRacing's been kind of a cool outlet for you, as we've talked during the week. You're kind of stuck in Canada. The border's closed. You can't get down to the States to go racing yet. So is this kind of knock the edge off, or does it make you want it even more?
Yeah, it makes you want to race even more in real life. This is great. It helps to kind of give the itch away. But ultimately, you want to be in the real thing, bumping that cushion, going as fast as you can. But I'm looking here. It looks like 3 of us had the exact same time in qualifying.
How about that?
Yeah. So it's been great. I've learned a lot in this game. Hopefully I don't pick up any bad habits when I finally get to racing. But it's been great. You know how it's been fun racing together with the street stocks the past couple of days. That's been awesome.
I think that's the most fun we've had in a couple weeks.
Yes, it has been. It's been unreal.
Well, good luck tonight. We'll get out of your helmet here and let you get back to focusing on what's about to happen here tonight in the final night of virtual racing. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Thomas Kennedy, the driver of the Kennedy Flooring Buffalo Wild Wings, cut number 21K from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. You'll be seeing him race here tonight. And of course, you'll see him once the Knoxville Raceway brings the fans back and we get back to real racing at the half mile on the Marion County Fairgrounds. Another one of those drivers that will be fun to watch tonight is Tyler Gronendijk. Tyler picked up a win here a couple weeks ago, has been really fast, has found something in the setup to make his iRacing car fast. And Tyler joins us now on the broadcast. Tyler, I was just saying how over the last couple of weeks, you've definitely come up on something that's made your car pretty fast. You've picked up a win and you've been in the hunt a lot here in this virtual series.
Yeah, we've just been running a lot of laps, running every Thursday night, and then trying to run a few nights in between, and just keep tweaking on the setup, and just getting some seat times really been helping.
I was just asking Thomas, and I'll ask you the same thing. Does this take the itch away? Does it soften the itch to want to go racing, or does this make it worse?
Winning that one the other night, I think made it worse. Doing it definitely makes you want to do it in real life that much worse. We've been awful close in real life. We just haven't got it done yet, so I think it might be making it worse.
So another decent field of cars here tonight, and the last couple of weeks have been pretty exciting. We've had some good features, and what do you think we'll see in the racetrack here tonight? I know we've practiced on many different conditions this week in preparation for tonight's event.
Yeah, I think looks like the car count might be down a little bit tonight. So we might see at least the beginning of the feature have a little bit moisture still in the racetrack. But I think by the end of the feature, we're going to see something that's pretty slick, and we'll probably see at least two, if not three, lanes of racing again.
Well, good luck tonight. We'll let you get back to it and focus on what's before us. About 4.5 minutes to go before we get underway here on the final night. Good luck.
Tony.
That's Tyler Gronendijk, drives the Rosa family, car number 17 from Oskaloosa, Iowa. About 4 minutes, 44 seconds to go. Johnny Anderson is your quick qualifier so far. 15.003, put down a good lap. Ryan York, second quick, 15.052. Brock Wilson, third fast, 15.064. Tyler Curtis, fourth quick, and TJ Masick rounds out the top five. Ryan Curtis, brother to Tyler, he is sixth. Tyler Gronendijk, seventh. Jamie Ball is eighth. Ryan Levitt, ninth. And Stu Snyder is 10th on the speed charts so far here in qualifying with just over 4 minutes remaining here in this one. So the clock continues to click away. Drivers are texting me getting anxious to go racing. Matthew says we are not live on YouTube. Darren? So the drivers still a couple minutes left to qualify to get their best laps of the night in. As we look down the timing chart, Stuart Snyder still 10th quickest. Let's get a word with Johnny Anderson, who currently sits atop the speed charts here going into the final night of racing. Johnny Anderson joins us in the booth now. Johnny Lightning, you were lightning fast tonight here, my friend. 15.003. You laid down a good one there in qualifying.
Yeah, car felt really good. Hit the bottom real nice, and looking to capitalize on that.
I asked, I spoke to Tyler Gronendijk a little bit ago and Thomas Kennedy, and I asked them the same question I'll ask you. With this iRacing stuff that we've been doing the last 5 or 6 weeks, and I know you're not actively racing on a weekly basis in your own car, but does this give you the itch even more to want to go race, or does this kind of cure the itch, so to speak?
It doesn't. It cures my itch as far as me personally driving. It's enough for me. Now my son, on the other hand, all he's talking about is getting a sprint car. So his, his itch has definitely went up 10 notches since this deal, and it won't be very long, I hope, long as he does everything he's supposed to be doing in school and things like that. And hopefully we get to see Fast Jack out there in maybe a 305 to get him started and see how he can do.
That'd be pretty cool, I think, wouldn't it?
Dude, I'm pretty pumped. Mom's a little scared about it, but she'll get over it.
Yeah, that's cool though. Well, hey man, as we get ready to get into racing here tonight, just want to say thanks for taking the time out these last 5 or 6 weeks and racing with us. I know it's cool for me and for the fans to have some guys that really do race at Knoxville, like yourself, come in here and participate in the iRacing. So thanks a lot for that.
I appreciate you guys having me a part of this deal. It's been a blast. I thank everybody that's been a part of it. You too, Tony. You make this deal really cool. And yeah, it's been a blast. Thank you guys.
You bet. Thank you. Johnny Anderson, tonight's quick qualifier as we go into the final night of virtual racing. Again, tonight's racing brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, and Royal Flooring. Here tonight's presenting sponsors. So about 33 seconds left in qualifying, which will lead us into our national anthem right before the heat races get ready to roll. And as we near that time, we'd ask that you remove your hats, ladies and gentlemen. If you're sitting in your living room, step up out of the Barca Lounger, put down the ice cold frosty drink, and ready to sing along with tonight's national anthem, sung by Katie Spriggs.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
All right, 80 Springs, ladies and gentlemen. Forward, march.
All right, how about that? Katie Spriggs singing tonight's national anthem. No matter how many times you hear it, it's always as good as it was the first time. All right, here's your lineup for heat race number 1 here tonight. First on the point here, starting on the pole of heat race number 1, the car number 7 is Johnny Lightning Anderson. Outside of him, last week's feature winner, the car number 14 of Tyler Curtis. Row 2 on the inside, Tyler Gronendijk in the car number 17, and to his outside in the car number 23, that's Stu Snyder. Your 5th starter in the car number 52, that's Austin Fiala, and to his outside starting in the 6th spot, the car number 13 is Eric Wilkie. Row number 4, Brian Dorge in the car number 16, starts in the 7th spot, and to his outside, GT, Garrett Tatnell, lines up in the 8th spot in car number 25. 8 laps is the distance here in heat race number 1. Top 4 cars will move on. Again, tonight's racing brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, and Royal Flooring. And, of course, Johnny Anderson picks up the $25 Quick Time Award from HostIowa.net, powered by Nemeth Racing Electronics and Kyle McCullough. As Johnny paces the field down the back straightaway, the Jack L. Anderson Auto Body car number 7, the red 7 you see in the middle of your screen. To his outside, Tyler Curtis. He picked up the win last week on his presenting sponsor night. As you bring him off turn 4 to the green, here we go. Heat race number 1. Johnny Anderson leads him down into turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Second, third, and fourth now single file side by side for the 5th spot, but only the top 4 matter as they race into turns 3 and 4. Johnny Anderson, Tyler Curtis in the 2nd spot. Tyler Gronendijk, Stu Snyder in that 4th and final transfer. Stu's wife picked up the Powder Puff win last Thursday night. So Stu looking for his virtual win here possibly tonight as they race down the front straightaway. Johnny Anderson from the drop of the green out front of the car number 7. Tyler Curtis still right there in contention. He runs in the 2nd spot. Tyler Gronendijk in the Rosa family, car number 17, racing 3rd. Trying to make a move here in the heat race. Stu Snyder in that 4th spot. Austin Fiala, the car number 52, is on the outside looking in. He rides in the 5th spot. As they race down the back straightaway, we'll go on board here in just a moment with Austin Fiala. That's the yellow car number 52. Austin in the 5th spot, only the top 4 go. We'll watch his line as they race to the inside of turns 1 and 2. Down the back chute, Austin trying to reel in the top 4, but they seem to be able to keep him at bay as they race into turns 3 and 4. Good look to the outside as they get right up against the outside Armco and then down to the inside of the racetrack. Look at Stu Snyder's car just lean over to the left side as they race through the turn. That big top wing planting that left rear tire on the racetrack as they roll through the corner. Back up front, battle for second now as they work into turn number 1. Tyler Curtis on the inside has it now. Tyler Gronendijk back to the inside. He'll look to the inside for the 2nd spot. Side by side into turn 3. Slide job coming up. He's got it in turn number 4. Tyler Gronendijk has the 2nd spot. Tyler Curtis races 3rd. Curtis now goes to the top of turns 1 and 2, trying to make the cushion work for him as they work down the back straightaway. Stu Snyder still holding on to that 4th and final transfer spot. Austin Fiala on the outside looking in. Laps are clicking off as the checkered flag waves. Johnny Anderson gets the heat race win. Tyler Gronendijk comes home in the 2nd spot. 3rd goes to Tyler Curtis. And Stu Snyder picks up the 4th and final transfer position here in Precision Athlete Cryotherapy Triple H Race Parts Royal Flooring Heat Race number 1. Heat race number 2 will be rolling trackside here in just a moment as the cars are making their way down into the grid. Again, special thanks to Kyle McCullough for putting up the $25 Quick Time Award. Kyle is responsible for the Knoxville Raceway app and much of the website and some of that kind of stuff at the Knoxville Raceway on a weekly basis. So we appreciate Kyle participating here in these 6 virtual weeks of racing. All right, here's how we'll line up Triple H Race Parts Heat Race number 2. Starting on the pole, it's Ryan York in the car number 9, and to his outside in the 29, it's TJ Masick. Starting in the 3rd spot from right here in Knoxville, the car number 5 is Jamie Ball, and outside of him, we spoke to him in qualifying from Canada, the car number 21, that's Thomas Kennedy. Run number 3 on the inside, your 5th starter from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The car number 19 is Wayne Johnson, and your 6th starter in the car number 2 is Matthew Johnson. Matthew drives the Precision Athlete Cryotherapy entry, and your final starter here in Triple H Race Parts Heat Race number 2 is the Double Deuce of Tony Schilling. He'll line up in the 7th and final position here in Heat Race number 2. Just about ready to go as they roll around turns 3 and 4. Going to take one more lap under caution here. You can find out a whole lot more about Precision Athlete Cryotherapy if you go onto their Facebook page. You can find out hours and offerings and all kinds of cool stuff. Make sure you give them a like. I just did. All right, here we go. I'm sure our boy Scotty Parker is watching from probably a Lakeview seat here tonight down south. All right, Ryan York Bringing the car number 9 around turns 3 and 4. TJ Masick with the Calvin Landis paint scheme. On the outside of the front row in car 70. Off at turn 4, Ryan York gets a good jump on the field. He'll lead him to green as they work down the front straightaway. Ryan York leads them into turn number 2. They're side by side for second now. TJ Masick and Jamie Ball. Jamie Ball, the white car number 5, down to the inside, taking a look at TJ Masick. Masick has the second spot now. Thomas Kennedy looks to the outside of Ball for third. Thomas Kennedy up on the high side of the racetrack now, following Jamie Ball. Now looks to the inside, gets way down on the inside of turn number 2. Wayne Johnson knocking on the door as well. A 3-car battle. Everybody wants in tonight's feature through the heat race. Thomas Kennedy has that 4th and final transfer position. Wayne Johnson running in the 5th spot. Tony Schilling running 6th. Matthew Johnson rounds out the field. Wayne Johnson right behind Thomas Kennedy as they race off down the front straightaway, but it's all Ryan York thus far. Ryan from the drop of the green got a good pop on the field as they raced off at turn number 4. TJ Masick trying to close in the car number 70. TJ Masick up on the top of the racetrack, right up behind Ryan York. He has closed the gap on your leader. 2 car lengths now, nose to tail in turn number 2. Your race is for lead as they work down into turn number 3. Ryan York through the middle, about a car width off the cushion. Here comes TJ Masick on the outside. Oh boy, York left the cushion wide open, and TJ Masick just about used it to his advantage. Jamie Ball in that 3rd spot down the back chute now, closing in on TJ Masick. And then it's Thomas Kennedy in that 4th and final transfer position. Wayne Johnson still riding in the 5th spot, not able to make a move up into the top 4 transfer positions now side by side. Oh boy, Jamie Ball sent him flying as they raced into turn number 2. TJ Masick got on his top as they raced through the turn by virtue of contact. As they work down the front straightaway, now that puts Wayne Johnson in a transfer position and Thomas Kennedy looking for some insurance. Down the back chute now, Jamie Ball in that runner-up spot, Thomas Kennedy right behind him. Checkered flag is out and Ryan York is the winner. Jamie Ball comes home second, Thomas Kennedy gets the 3rd spot, and Wayne Johnson finishing in that 4th and final transfer position. Tony Schilling comes home 1 spot short of a transfer. Heat race number 3 brought to you by Royal Flooring. Cars are making their way down into the grid. We'll line up like this on the pole. The car number 15, that's Brock Wilson. Outside of Brock, in the car number 18, that's Ryan Curtis. RC starts outside of the front row. Ryan Levitt starts up on the inside of the second row in the car number 22, and to his outside, it's Dennis Gainey in the car number 85. Your 5th starter inside of row number 3, it's Kelby Watt in the car number 1, and to his outside, in the Poly Ice Pizza, car number 71, the rookie, Caden Moore. Caden Moore lines up in the 6th spot. And your final starter here in Royal Flooring Heat Race number 3 is the car number 41 of Dan Henning. Dan Henning, your final starter here in Heat Race number 3. As I mentioned, you can go online to Facebook and type in the words Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, and you can find out more about all of their services. They're going to be visiting the Legacy Fitness in Ankeny here pretty soon. Precision Athlete Cryotherapy is located inside, so which means you have time to get your cryotherapy appointment scheduled. Make sure you stop up there and see them from 4 to 8 p.m. I guess that was actually today. Don't leave your seats. We don't want you to leave just right now. But they can fix you up. Just go onto their Facebook page, find out their hours, and you can get a therapy session scheduled and go check it all out. I am going to go here in a few weeks, I think. I'm going to give it a shot myself. They promised me they have enough dry ice to make me skinny. So we'll see how that looks and works as I go up for my session. Looking forward to it. All right, Virtual Wally goes to the infield. We go to the green. Down the front chute now. Brock Wilson bringing him into turns 1 and 2. He got a good jump on the field as they raced off at turn 4. Ryan Curtis in the Valvoline, car number 18, running in the 2nd spot. Ryan Levitt, the 3rd-generation racer at the Knoxville Raceway, up into the 3rd position. Kelby Watt in the car number 1, racing 4th. Dennis Gainey, Dan Henning, and Caden Moore round out the field here in Royal Flooring Heat Race number 3. Good racing up front for the lead as they race into 3 and 4. RC is right on the back of Brock Wilson. Brock is the Dirt Vision production manager as they race at Knoxville on a weekly basis, but now they race for the lead off of turn 2. You're on board with Ryan Curtis. He looked for the lead and left the inside open now. Ryan Levitt slides across the nose to take the second spot back. Here comes RC. He'll look to the inside now, goes to the cushion in turns 1 and 2. Battle for the lead now in turn number 2. Brock Wilson has it. Ryan Levitt wants it. Ryan Levitt through the middle. Ryan Curtis on the outside, up on the cushion. Brock Wilson continuing to lead. Side by side for the second spot. Wilson leads Ryan Levitt and Ryan Curtis. Now Ryan Levitt pulls up alongside now, nose to tail with your leader down the back chute. Oh boy, look at the move. Ryan Curtis puts to the inside of 3 and 4. He had a huge head of steam entering the inside of turn number 3. Now slips back to the 4th spot as Kelby Watt throws his hat in the mix. A 3-car battle for the second spot as they work down the back straightaway. Brock Wilson still the race leader. As they go side by side, Ryan Levitt trying to make something happen. He gets the second spot back. Kelby Watt wearing him out in turn number 2. How about this battle for the runner-up spot? The top 4 cars will move on as the laps are wearing thin. Off of turn 4, white flag flies. 1 to go. Final time for your leader. Brock Wilson brings the field down the back chute as they still have a 3-car dogfight for the second spot. Who's it going to be? As they work off at turn 4, Brock Wilson gets the win. Ryan Levitt comes home second. Kelby Watt finishes third, and Ryan Curtis picks up that 4th and final transfer position. Dennis Gainey comes home in the 5th spot, I believe he was. So that will do it for our heat race action here tonight. We're going to have a quick little warm-up session for our transfer cars as we get ready to line up what I believe will be the B main next on the grid. All right, we're going to scrap the B main. We had just enough cars. So we'll be running next up on the grid will be tonight's 40-lapper. Don't forget, if you haven't given the Pushing the Cushion Productions YouTube page a like, make sure you scroll down and give them a like. Post a comment. Thank them for producing these Knoxville virtual races over the last 6 weeks. All right. Well, like I say on a normal race night, you'll hear me say this on occasion. The announcers are the last to hear about disqualifications and format changes, and tonight is no different. So I think we're going to actually have a dash. We're going to have a 10-lap dash. I believe. We'll see. We'll all find out together. Hopefully, wherever you're watching from tonight, you're doing well. We hope that you're all bearing with the pandemic as good as you can in your areas and taking your proper precautions. Last week, of course, on Friday night, will be 1 week ago tomorrow night, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series made their first visit in 2020 to the Knoxville Raceway. And I got to tell you, as much fun as it was to get to go racing again and call that race, it was the most strangest race I've ever announced in my life, race fans. Looking down over that big grandstand, not seeing a soul in the grandstands was quite strange. Before the races, we had to check in. We had to go in through the back gate. We had to sign off on a check-in sheet, not the normal waiver, a check-in sheet. We had to go get our temperatures taken. They gave us a mask and a bottle of hand sanitizer. And as Dave Reef and I were walking back to the press box, normally under the grandstands on the back concourse there's lots going on. Fans are muscling around and the concession stands are open. T-shirt vendors are selling stuff. And as we walked down the concourse on the Capitani Walk of Champions, Dave looked at me and said, listen to that. There's not a sound and not a soul here but us. And race fans, I'm telling you, it was strange. And I can't wait to have all of you back at the racetrack again. Don't know quite when that's going to be. The good news is Governor Kim Reynolds, the governor of the state of Iowa, has been opening up more things over this week and lightening up some of the regulations. So hopefully we'll get back to having fans in the grandstands at racetracks very soon, namely at the Knoxville Raceway. All right, looks like our dash cars are making their way down onto the grid. And so we'll see who those cars are here in just a moment. In no particular order, I believe you'll see Stu Snyder, which is the car rolling onto the racetrack now. I believe Thomas Kennedy will be rolling out here in just a moment. Ryan Levitt, I believe, will be a car coming out also. No, that's not Donnie Schatz, race fans. That's Brock Wilson. That's a lot of pressure. Darren can't talk to me right now or talk to you all. He can talk to me. But I don't know, Darren. I think that would be a lot of pressure having a Donnie Schatz paint scheme and number on my iRacing car, especially as poorly as I iRace.
Yeah, that would definitely put a little bit of pressure on somebody.
Ooh, boy. Oh, that's funny stuff. That's all right. I'm repping my man, my favorite race car driver of all time, Rocky Hodges, in the 1984 track championship winning car, no less. Just want to get that in. All right, so the dash cars are making their way out onto the racetrack. You see Stu Snyder and Ryan Levitt side by side there on the front row. Looks like Tyler Gronendijk in the next row there. We'll see who pairs up alongside of Tyler. Oh, I believe that's Wayne Johnson on the front row. Ryan Levitt in the second row. My mistake. Then Thomas Kennedy, Johnny Anderson in the third row. And 3 cars whom we'll let you name by your own choice, race fans. No, I'm just kidding. Tyler Curtis rolling out on the racetrack in the Royal Flooring. Number 5, Ryan York back there in the car number 9. Brock Wilson lining up back there. There's Tyler Curtis and Ryan Curtis side by side there in the second row. Thomas Kennedy lining up on the inside of the third row. If you follow him on Facebook, you'll notice I put a post on his Facebook page today with a meme in which I'll describe here to you in just a little bit. All right, getting ready to go to the dash as they work down the front straightaway. This is a big dash. Oh boy. Cars into the wall as they race through turns 1 and 2, back in the pack. The leaders pulling away from the field. Stu Snyder leading off at turn number 4. Looks like Wayne Johnson in that second spot. Ryan Curtis running in that third position as they race into turn number 2. Good battle for the lead down the back straightaway. Stu Snyder, as I mentioned, looking for a feature win here tonight. He wants one bad, and he's out front right now here in the dash. His wife, Kendall, picked up the Powder Puff win 1 week ago. Wayne Johnson running in the second spot. Tyler Curtis running third. Tyler, the brother to Ryan Curtis, last week's feature winner. Johnny Anderson, who's been a feature winner this season in virtual Knoxville racing, running in that 4th spot. Thomas Kennedy rolling down the back straightaway in that familiar powder blue Buffalo Wild Wings, car number 21K. We've had a ton of fun with Thomas and Matthew Johnson racing virtually here during the week. It's been a good time the last 5 weeks for sure. Back up front, Stu Snyder continues to lead here in tonight's Dash for Cash as they roll through the top of turns 1 and 2. Johnny Anderson in the car number 7, looking low as they work off of turn number 4 now to the inside. Down the front straightaway. Keep your eye on that race for the 3rd spot. Tyler Curtis in the 3rd spot turns the car to the inside of Wayne Johnson. He'd like a little more. Down the back straightaway, Johnson on the high side. Curtis down low. They'll go side by side into turn 4, but leaving the inside line is open is never good when Johnny Anderson's in tow. Johnny goes to the cushion though in turns 1 and 2, drives off the top of the racetrack, now makes a big run down the back straightaway. Johnny Anderson in that 4th spot in the Jack L. Anderson Auto Body, car number 7. Reeling them in as they work down into turn 1. Not sure what lap we're on or how many to go, but the field's still working around the top of the racetrack. Stu Snyder with a firm grip on the lead here in the dash. Tyler Curtis running second. Johnny Anderson now up into the third spot. Don't think he's done yet. Wayne Johnson running in that fourth position. Just watch Johnny. He just turns that car to the left as they come through the corner, says, yep, right here's a good spot, and he makes a turn. Turns the car off the top. Will go on board with Johnny Lightning down the back straightaway. You get a real good sense of how hard that car wings over on the left side as they roll through turns 3 and 4. You see that slick in the middle of the racetrack. Johnny keeps that left rear down in the good stuff. As they race through the turn, these cars like to drive off the left rear, and by keeping it down in the good stuff, he gets a good run off the turn. Does it again, just turns the car off the top of the racetrack, makes a run down the front straightaway. Thomas Kennedy back there in that 5th spot as they go side by side for second, trying to reel in your leader. And that'll do it here in tonight's dash as Stu Snyder gets the win. Tyler Curtis comes home second. Johnny Anderson in the 3rd spot. And Thomas Kennedy will line up outside of row number 2. He'll finish 4th here tonight in the dash. So what'll happen next, race fans, is the cars will all come out. They'll actually take the green, but then they'll come back around and line up in the proper start running order. And we will go 40 laps of competition racing here on Precision Athlete Cryotherapy feature time here at virtual Knoxville Raceway. The final night of what has been 6 great weeks of virtual series racing here on Pushing the Cushion Productions YouTube page, brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, and Royal Flooring. And also want to thank all of those fine sponsors we've had help us out over the last 6 weeks. Going to do a little wheel packing here before we bring the cars out for tonight's feature. Going to get that top side run in. As I was mentioning earlier, I put a post up on Thomas's Facebook page today. If you don't follow Thomas Kennedy on Facebook, make sure you go do it. The other night as we were iRacing, Thomas was chomping on chips in the headset microphone, steering with one hand. He said, I'm eating chips and steering with one hand. And so I happened to come across a meme today of a guy that said Canadians watching Iowa or U.S. politics or something like that. But they're all anxiously waiting for the borders to open up, and it reminded me of Thomas chomping on his chips while he was racing with us the other night. Speaking of the other night, we raced street stocks around the Knoxville Raceway. And if you're an iRacer yourself and you've had to labor yourself through the street stocks, about the most fun I've had in them is at Knoxville, on a track that was completely spent, had just a little cushion around the top, and we were able to really get those cars to haul around the top of the racetrack. It was a ton of fun. So sign yourself up for some street stock racing at Knoxville, wear the racetrack out, put it on a worn-out setting, and go out there and have a good time up against the fence. You know, a lot of tracks we're going to attempt to race this weekend coming up, but I see this afternoon a few of them already canceled due to weather, and so those won't be streaming. But there'll be several races that you can watch on several different streaming services this weekend, so make sure you take a look at what's available out there, and make sure you support those tracks that are streaming, because some of the tracks get a few bucks off of those streams, and every little bit helps in this time when we can't have fans at racetracks. So make sure you go support a racetrack that's streaming an event this weekend. Of course, Josh Boffman's race the second night was rained out down in Lubbock, Texas. Sam Haferteef Jr. picked up the win on the first night. And now those teams make the trek north to race this weekend. So we wish them all safe travels. So tonight's feature cars are making their way down to the grid. Here's your starting lineup on the pole. You saw him lay down some good laps here just a little bit ago. It'll be Stu Snyder lining up on the pole here in just a little bit. We'll give you the official rundown once the cars start rolling here in just a minute. As I mentioned, they're going to actually take the green, and then they'll line up in their proper running order, and then we'll go racing. Of course, don't forget to make sure you keep up with all the action and happenings of politics and rules and regulations at KnoxvilleRaceway.com to find out when we will, in fact, be racing. Of course, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series will be back here in a couple of weeks. You'll be able to watch that live on Dirt Vision. And this time, Johnny Gibson will be in the booth with me. He will not be 1,056 miles away, which was an interesting adventure in its own right last Friday night. Another time, another night, we'll talk about that. But nonetheless, it was an interesting experience, worked out well. But Johnny will be back in the booth with me on the next visit of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series to the Knoxville Raceway. Had it not been for the dash, Darren telling me Stu Snyder would have started 10th. But by virtue of his dash win, he will start on the pole. So that is a good deal for him here tonight, as he is looking to notch away a virtual Knoxville win here in this 6-race series. Ryan Curtis, last week's feature winner, will be starting back a few rows, but his brother will line up on the outside of the front row there in that Valvoline car number 18. There's a look at
Green's out. Green flag. Green flag.
Ryan's car. So the cars are going to line up side by side here, nose to tail, getting ready to go. Stu Snyder and Ryan Curtis on the front row. Ryan Curtis's car is flashing. He had trouble with that last week. We'll hope he gets that fixed. Wayne Johnson and Johnny Anderson in the second row. Tyler Gronendijk and Thomas Kennedy in row 3. Jamie Ball and Brock Wilson in row number 4. Kelby Watt and Ryan Levitt will line up in the 5th row. Ryan York and Austin Fiala will line up in row number 6. Tyler Curtis and Tony Schilling in the 7th row. Dennis Gainey and Eric Wilkie in row 8. Matthew Johnson and Caden Moore in row 9. Brian Dorge will line up in the 19th spot, and Dan Henning will line up 20th. TJ Masick and Garrett Tatnell not making the call. Looking forward to seeing Garrett back at the Knoxville Raceway too. Now that kid right there is going to be quite a crew chief one of these days. If he doesn't, if he decides that he doesn't want to race, he's going to be quite a crew chief. He helps his dad every week, Brooke Tatnell, in the pits along with the crew. But he's a hard-working kid. He's not just there scraping mud. Kid's dragging air tanks, checking bleeders. He's doing it all. So can't wait to see Garrett back at the races here very soon. All right, off of turn 4, green flag waves. Our feature event is underway. Stu Snyder leading the field into turn number 2. Again tonight, brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, and Royal Flooring. Good breakout from the top 4 cars as they roll around the top side of the racetrack now. Down the front straightaway, it's Stu Snyder leading Ryan Curtis. Johnny Anderson in that 3rd spot. Boy, she stopped right there for me just a minute. My heart skipped a beat. Back underway, the field rolling around the top. Good battle there for, I think, his 4th right now. Wayne Johnson, Thomas Kennedy, and Tyler Gronendijk battling for the 4th spot. A 3-car dogfight as they race into turn number 2. Wayne Johnson will lead that trio of cars into turn 3. Tyler Gronendijk now sliding up across the nose of Thomas Kennedy in turn number 4. That'll put Wayne Johnson in the 4th spot, Tyler Gronendijk 5th, and Thomas Kennedy 6th. Jamie Ball moves up into the 7th spot. Ryan York is 8th, Brock Wilson 9th, and Tony Schilling rounding out the top 10 in the double deuce. Back up front, Stu Snyder continues to show the way down the front straightaway, but the caution flag will wave. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Virtual Wally rolls her out onto the racetrack in the Telemotors pace truck. Stu Snyder, Ryan Curtis, Johnny Anderson, Wayne Johnson, Tyler Gronendijk, Thomas Kennedy, Jamie Ball, Ryan York, Brock Wilson, and Tony Schilling, your top 10. Kelby Watt, Tyler Curtis, Ryan Levitt, Eric Wilkie, Austin Fiala, Dennis Gainey, Dan, and Brian will round out the field. So getting the field lined up in their proper positions. Ryan Curtis in that second spot. If you're in the Central Iowa area and you need a new Dodge vehicle, give him a call at Stu Hansen Dodge in Des Moines. He'll get you fixed right up. There's a look at his car rolling around the top side of the racetrack in the second spot. Caden Moore getting a wave around. He'll join the back of the pack here on the restart, getting ready to go. 9 laps in the books. Caution laps do count here in tonight's Precision Athlete Cryotherapy feature event. But again, make sure you give our friends at Precision Athlete Cryotherapy a call and look them up on Facebook if you want to find out more about the services they offer. If you need some race car parts for your upcoming race season, our friends at Triple H Race Parts in Newton, Iowa can fix you up. And of course, Royal Flooring is the place to go for your flooring and houseware needs. All right, green back out as we get back to racing. 10 laps are in the books here in this 40-lap affair as they work down the back straightaway. Stu Snyder leading. Here comes Ryan Curtis now sliding up across the racetrack. He took a look to the inside for the lead, but went back to the top. Johnny Anderson in that third spot, car flipping wildly through turn number 4. I believe that's Wayne Johnson getting the car number 2 upside down as we stay green through turns 1 and 2. Stu Snyder leading the way. Ryan Curtis, Johnny Anderson, Thomas Kennedy running in that 4th spot. Ryan York and Thomas Kennedy battling it out for position. That's the race for the 4th spot. York slides up across turn 2, takes the spot from Kennedy, who turns the car back around him on the inside. He'll give it a run down the back straightaway and take the 4th spot back. Good racing between those two cars as they work down the front straightaway. That's the race for the 4th position. The best battle on the racetrack now between Ryan York and Thomas Kennedy working off of turn 2. Just behind them, it's Jamie Ball and Tyler Gronendijk racing single file for positions 6 and 7. Tyler Curtis, Kelby Watt, and Eric Wilkie up into the 10th position. As that battle continues for the 4th position, the top 3 cars have pulled away from the field. Single file around the top of turns 3 and 4, led by Stu Snyder. Ryan Curtis still running in that number 2 position right there in the car number 18. Goes to the inside of turn 1, then slides up to the top of the racetrack. Johnny Anderson stays right up at the top of the racetrack, nice and steady, and now the caution coming back out. Yellow on lap number 15. Car on its side, I believe that was Austin Fiala, perhaps, in the 52, I think. So the cars will get realigned nose to tail here in a single file running order. Virtual Wally in the pace truck. The real Wally Price, probably watching online here tonight on YouTube. He sent me a message earlier. Here in Central Iowa, we had quite a storm about 5 o'clock. We had tornado sirens, strong winds, heavy rains, hail the size of baseballs. No kidding, the size of baseballs in parts of Marion County, which is where I reside. And he sent me a message and said, is Knoxville virtual racing still on tonight, or is it rained out? And I said, it just depends whether the tornado sirens are still going, whether or not I'll be part of it tonight. But the good news is the sirens have went away, the storms have passed, and everything's A-okay. Wayne Johnson in that Outlaw Wings, car number 2. Gets her back on the right side and brings the car around. Stu Snyder, your race leader, 18 laps in the books of 40 here in this one. Looking for that first virtual win here tonight. As we take a look back from Stu's car, there's a look at Ryan Curtis in the United Valvoline car number 18. Ryan was quite a baseball player in his day at Grandview College, and I believe Southeast Polk High School is where he went to high school, but he was quite a bat swinger at Grandview. All right, back to racing. Green flag waves. We're back underway. Stu Snyder jumps out, keeps that lead, puts 5 car lengths on Ryan Curtis in that second spot, but Johnny Anderson right there, breathing down his neck, looks to the inside, puts the big move on the ball, they get together, 2 cars dumping the caution into the wall. Tough break for those two cars. Tyler Gronendijk. Oh my, we have melee all over the front chute. It looks like a swap meet on the front straightaway as we have wrecked cars everywhere. Tough break for Ryan Curtis. Johnny Anderson, I believe Tyler Gronendijk also involved in that one. Racing for position there, just a racing deal. I thought they were going to be able to save it. Both cars got up over the cushion, but once you're over that cushion, it's hard to get out of it. Tough break for those guys. Good news, though, for Ryan York, who finds himself second now in that car number 9. Thomas Kennedy lines up third. Jamie Ball running in that 4th spot. He's looking for a strong finish here tonight. Kelby Watt in the top 5 in the car number 1. Tyler Curtis, last week's winner, lines up 6th. Eric Wilkie. Brock Wilson. Brock Wilson was the Mini Nationals champion at Slideways in 2019. He lines up in the 8th spot. Dan Henning and Ryan Levitt. 3rd generation Levitt racing at the Knoxville Raceway. Drives Steve Ware's racing car number 22 here tonight. I'm sure Steve and Helen are watching from the palatial estates just north of Knoxville, eating those fresh baked cupcakes that Helen is so good at making, and probably sipping on a nice cold Busch latte to go alongside of it. A very familiar view for those of you that watch the Knoxville YouTube page from Chris Crone's perch high atop the suites at the Knoxville Raceway. Of course, videographer Chris Crone recently announced will be inducted into the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame in 2020 as you take that look from high atop the suites, 70 feet in the air in case you were curious. From the top of the roof to the ground below, 70 feet. It's a long ways up there. I remember when they were building the suites, and before the fence was around the top of that suite, we went up on top there one afternoon, and I'd never been so scared in my life. All right, here we go. Pace truck's in. Stu Snyder bringing him around. Oh, Thomas Kennedy a little quick on the pedal down the front chute. Virtual Justin Clark probably not too happy about that as they work off of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Thomas Kennedy finds himself in 3rd. Jamie Ball got snookered on the start. He rides in the 4th spot now as they work off of turn 4. Stu Snyder, Ryan York in the 2nd spot. Jamie Ball in that 3rd position. I believe Jamie Ball and Thomas Kennedy bang wheels down the back chute, but as I was going to say, Jamie Ball got him a new race rig this week. There is possibly going to be a Tony Bachhoven After Dark podcast coming up here in a couple of weeks where we take a tour, a guided tour with Jamie Ball through the new race rig. Down the back chute now, that battle for the lead starts to heat up as they work in turn 4. Stu Snyder rubbing the right rear on the fence as they work off the turn, allows Ryan York to get by. Stu Snyder back to the inside, slides up the racetrack, finds the good stuff in the middle. Down the back straightaway. Stu Snyder all out of shape in that number 2 position, but Ryan York leads off the turn. Ryan York, a former Knoxville regular, leads the way in the car number 9, rides up on the top side of the racetrack now. Stu Snyder, 5 car lengths back as they race into turn number 2. Thomas Kennedy battling with Jamie Ball. That continues. Jamie Ball with a run up on the high side of the racetrack. You could throw a Busch latte and hit Jamie Ball's shop. They're so close to the Knoxville Raceway. Here they come around the top of turns 1 and 2. A good battle. Ryan Curtis fell out, but his brother Tyler up in the mix now. Down the back straightaway toward turns 3 and 4. Tyler Curtis finds himself in the 4th spot. 12 laps to go. This one is not done yet. Meanwhile, Ryan York has put the whip to her as they race off at turn number 2. Down the back chute now, Ryan York on the inside of turns 3 and 4. The race leader, Stu Snyder, up on the top. Jamie Ball tries to turn the car, much like Johnny Anderson was doing early on. Oh, trouble for Thomas Kennedy. Thomas Kennedy out of the mix. He's turned the car around in the middle of the turn, and he'll draw the caution with 10 laps to go. Tough break for Thomas Kennedy. There's a look at the B-Dubs, car number 21, the Shamrock Carpets Kennedy flooring entry. Tough break for Thomas Kennedy. Had a good run going. Jamie Ball in that third spot now. Tyler Curtis right behind him. Stu Snyder in that number 2 position. Has led from the drop of the green, then about 5 laps ago, lost the lead to Ryan York, who now you find out front. Wayne Johnson getting a wave around. He'll go to the tail of the longest line, which in this case is the only line because they'll be lining up single file. 8 to go here in the Precision Athlete Cryotherapy Triple H Race Parts Royal Flooring feature event. Final night of Knoxville Virtual Series Racing for 2020. And let's hope we all get back to the racetrack very soon. All right, just about ready to go. I believe the pace truck will be going in. Ryan York, going to stay out. Pace truck's going to stay out one more lap. Going to let another car get around, get him on the lead lap here. That will put us at about 7 to go, I believe, when we get back to the green. Going to make it tougher for those guys that find themselves 4th on back. Going to have to make some Hail Mary moves to get up there in contention for the win. All right, green coming out this time around. Ryan York, the race leader. Stuart Snyder right there in second. Watch him. He's going to try to get that lead back here on the restart. Jamie Ball hanging back, going to make a run to the green. Eric Wilkie, Thomas Kennedy, Henning, Brian, Matthew, and Wayne, the top 10 off of turn 4. Green flag waves.
Green flag.
Ryan York goes back to the lead in turn number 2. Stu Snyder not able to make the move to the top spot as they work off of turn 2. Battle for third, heating up now as they race into turn number 3. Here comes Tyler Curtis. He'll go across the nose of Jamie Ball to take the third spot, put him up on the podium as they work down the front straightaway. Jamie Ball right there looking to the inside now. He's not done yet either. He'll look low and take the Chick Magnet 5J down the back straightaway, trying to get back into the top 3. 5 laps to go. Will be 4 this time around as they work down the front straightaway. Ryan York, Tyler Curtis, Stu Snyder, Jamie Ball, and Thomas Kennedy now the top 5. Down the back straightaway, Ryan York has his hands firmly gripped on the wheel, headed toward victory. He wants one. He wants the last one as they race down the front chute. Tyler Curtis picked up the win last week. He'd like to go back-to-back wins here in virtual racing. He's still in contention. Oh, Jamie Ball just got sent as they raced into turn number 2. He'll fall back here in the closing laps. Thomas Kennedy, 4 wheels in the fluff as they race through 3 and 4. He'll stay right behind Stu Snyder, but up front, your race is going to be for the lead. Will there be enough time? If Tyler Curtis wants it, he's going to have to come and get it. Ryan York looking for victory. The final night of virtual Knoxville. Down the front chute for the final time. Next time around will be checkers. Ryan York leading. Tyler Curtis bangs her off the fence. Still right there looking for the win. Down the back chute. York goes to the bottom. Curtis lays her hard on the cushion. Will he make it? Off of turn 4. Picking up the win. It's Ryan York. He'll get the final feature virtual win. Tyler Curtis comes home second. Stu Snyder picks up the third spot. Thomas Kennedy finishes 4th. As we'll get that running order for you here on the left of the screen. Eric Wilkie rounds out your top 5. Jamie Ball comes home in the 6th position. There we go. Brian Dorge in the 7th spot. Austin Fiala 8th. Dan Henning 9th. And Matthew Johnson scrapes out a 10th place finish here in this one. Well, let's get a word with tonight's feature winner here on the final night of racing, Ryan York. Picking up the win in strong fashion here in the closing laps. He did a nice job. We'll hear from our top 3. But first, let's talk to our feature winner. Ryan York picks up the win. Ryan, nice job. You waited there till about 10 or so to go, and you got out front and never looked back.
Yeah, some of this stuff is just keeping your nose clean for part of it, you know. I saw Tyler getting closer at the end there, trying to be careful with live traffic, and it feels good to finally get one, Tony.
Yeah, I waited until the last week, but hey, a win's a win, right?
That's right. I just wish I could go grab a pizza at Coralano's and and a beer at Dingus.
There you go. Hopefully we'll get to do that here very soon. But I want to say congratulations and picking up a virtual Knoxville feature win. Great job.
Appreciate it. Thanks. And thanks to Matt and everybody that put this on. It's been a lot of fun racing with all these guys and just passing some time here. So hope to see you around Knoxville here shortly.
Sounds good. We'll see you soon. Ryan York, tonight's feature winner. Coming home in the second spot is Tyler Curtis. Tyler comes home in the second spot. Tyler, just ran out of time, buddy. That car was fast in the last 5 laps. I thought you were going to make a move coming off a 2 one time there, but just couldn't get her done.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, I went to make a move getting into 1, and he was smart and threw a blocker and kind of lost a little speed there. Yeah, I really just needed probably 1 or 2 more laps, but that's how it goes sometimes. But kind of stunt getting taken out there in the dash, but obviously that's a part of racing too, you could say. And that was a lot of fun. Really I wish there was like 15, 20 more laps or just run another feature on this track.
Yeah, it was getting pretty racy there toward the end, but great job. You've been to victory lane this year, got a nice finish here to wrap things up, and hopefully we'll be back at the racetrack pretty soon.
Absolutely. Really appreciate you guys doing this, and Tony, you announcing it as well. It gives the fans watching a real life feel like they're actually at the track. And I know everyone at work was saying how awesome it was, and their wives were thinking it was actually the real race up on the TV when they streamed it up on the TV. But no, just got to thank everyone again. Royal Flooring, Bear Bison, Protein House, Origin Graphics, and I got to say I'm kind of bummed for my brother tonight. I think he might have had us covered, but had a little trouble there. You got the right rear. But
he was fast. You're exactly right. He was right there.
Absolutely. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and hopefully we'll pick this up again in the fall.
Stu Snyder finishes on the podium in the 3rd spot here tonight. Stu, you led from the drop of the green. You had a strong start for the first 3 quarters of the race. Just came up short, but man, the car was good early on in this one.
Yeah, Kendall had that thing hooked up pretty good. We just didn't need them yellows right there at the end. That thing started kind of getting slick and a little rough up on top. And oh well, I guess 3rd place. Finally, I was on the podium at one of these deals. It's a lot of fun, and we can't wait to get back to real racing.
Yeah, it's been a great time, and watching the ladies run, and I thought maybe tonight you were going to be able to tie Kendall and get a win here tonight, but hey, you finished on the podium, not a bad spot, and hopefully we'll be back to real racing here real soon.
Sure, for sure. She's always giving me crap every week. She's got more wins than I do, and I thought I had it there. We were really good in the dash, and I tightened it up a little bit more for the feature. We were just a little bit off.
Well, thanks for running with us, man, and look forward to seeing you here in the next few weeks.
Yeah, awesome. Can't wait. Sounds
Stu
good.
Snyder, he comes home in the 3rd spot here tonight at the final night of Virtual Series Racing, brought to you by Precision Athlete Cryotherapy, Triple H Race Parts, and Royal Flooring here at Virtual Knoxville Raceway. One of the guys that's worked really hard each week putting this deal together has been Matthew Johnson. He cracked out a 10th place finish here. What makes me smile is how many laps I see you were down here tonight, Matthew. But nonetheless, a 10th place finish tonight, buddy. Good job. You worked your ass off the last 6 weeks putting this thing together, and I think it's been a huge success.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. And was I down a lap?
No, I thought you were, but it was the
I
wrong. I was looking at the wrong one. I was so excited for a minute.
There you go. Yeah. Lead lap. There we go. Hey, no, it's been great. It's been fun to do, and hang out with the guys, and get to know these guys a lot better. Even face to face. Next time that we see each other at Knoxville, it won't be like hey, it's been since last year. I mean, it would be like, hey, I just talked to him last Thursday, even though we're not face to face. So it's pretty cool, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the fans tuning in, and it was great. It was so much fun. I hope that Knoxville continues this, maybe into a winter series, or something to do in the off season. Maybe this is the start of something cool.
Absolutely. So great job, good finish here tonight, and we look forward to getting back to the real racetrack here pretty soon. I know you're anxious to get going as well.
Yeah, super anxious to get back to the track. Ready to get in the car, and get going, and being able to feel the car. On iRacing, you can't feel the car. So, seriously, thank you so much to you, Tony, and to Pushing the Cushion. Make sure that if you guys are out there, you subscribe to their YouTube, because I'm sure that they're going to be working with us, here in the future. Cryotherapy here in Ankeny, Triple H Race Parts, Traden Automotive, all those people that have made this possible and helped us, put some cash up to all these races. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
That's Matthew Johnson, who's been an instrumental part of putting this thing together week in and week out. He had a 10th place finish here tonight. So as we get ready to put the ribbons on the virtual series invitational races here at the Knoxville Raceway, I want to again say thanks to all of our fine sponsors, Tygo Racing, Chaden Automotive, Precision Athlete Cryotherapy. Check them out on Facebook. Premium Sprint Car Parts, Shane Phillips, Kyle McCullough, Jack L. Anderson Auto Body, Champion Race Promotions, Cade Higday, Caleb Johnson, Wayne Johnson Racing, Best Christmas Ever of Iowa, and Royal Flooring. Of course, our friends at the Knoxville Raceway, Alex Hanna for all he's done, our friends at Pushing the Cushion Productions, and absolutely have to thank Darren Detweiler for all of his work every week putting this together. He's done a great job getting it to work, and he's listened to me bitch and complain before the races start about what I couldn't see, and it's been a great time, and I hope all of you race fans have enjoyed it. And most of all, we look forward to seeing you back at real races here very soon, but please be safe in whatever you're doing, and take the precautions you think you need to. So for all of us involved here at Virtual Knoxville Raceway, I bid you adieu and wish you well, and thank you so very much for joining us for 6 great weeks of virtual racing here at the Virtual Knoxville Raceway. Good night, everyone.